Yep. So the power today is to harmonize. And I ask you a question. What benefit is it for you to exist against something? A lot of times we build an ego as so separate and against that it works, right, in a sabotage type of manner, that you can't get along with people. You can't get along with different ideas because you see yourself as being against, or you see them as being against you. I encourage you to harmonize. Harmonize within yourself. Nobody is against you. People are different. There is variation and an infinite amount of perspectives and stances to come from, but that does not equal being against you. Therefore, you don't have to brace. You don't have to fuss. You don't have to insist. What you need to do is be in harmony within yourself. Is your heart, is your mind, is your body, are your subtle bodies aligned? And are you practicing alignment? And how are you practicing alignment? You see, if you're walking around in your autopilots being triggered, if you're walking around with your ego leading and guiding the way, then you're not harmonizing. What is your practice? How do you harmonize? Right? When you realize that some part of you or some essence of you is in discord or dissonance, how do you come into resonance with your vibration? What is your spiritual practice? Do you get up and check your phone and check your emails, then get dressed, think about the day, get in the car and try to listen to something on the way to work? Or do you have an actual practice? Do you have an actual ritual to uplift and harmonize you? That's a question. And if you don't have it, I suggest that you develop one. If you need help, sign up for a coaching session and let's see how that can work for you, because everyone is different. I don't think this has to look the same way. I think there's a bunch of different ways. Okay? The power today is harmonizing. Where do I need to harmonize within? I'm not even talking about cooperation yet. I'm talking about harmonizing within your own soul. Where are you divided? Where is one part running away and the other part trying to sit still? Where is one part trying to sit still and the other part running off? You need to self-assess today and come into harmony. The action is through modeling. Look at people, right, who are currently harmonized. Look at people who are currently in alignment with the things that you want, or ways that you need to be, or thoughts that you need to think, or belief systems or practices or whatever. Look at them as a model. Take what you need from it. Focus on that today. Not only that, model your own harmony. So in every moment, you're not going to let yourself come out of harmony and go against something. You're not going to perceive someone as against you. You're not going to start saying things that you don't mean and withholding things that you do mean. You're going to harmonize within wisdom. You're going to be a model for that. That's the action. So you don't just harmonize just to say I'm in harmony and it sounds great. You got to live it out. So model it. You got to show the benefit of it for your own development. Because a lot of times we read books and we watch videos and, we think, all right, I got it. I know what to do. I know what to say. I am equipped. But you got to learn how to use your equipment. It's similar to having a gun. You know all the parts of the gun and you know what a gun can do, but you don't know how to aim. You don't know how to brace. You don't know how to use the equipment. You just know about it, right? And knowing about it is part of it. It's step one. But now you got to learn how to use it. And that comes through practice. That comes through getting around other people who know how to use it. The essence of this is integrity. And I go back to what I just said. You're going to say what you mean and mean what you say, but you're going to use wisdom in it. You're going to ask yourself before communicating, what outcome do I want? And what is integrity for me? What does integrity look like in this moment? Does integrity look like me just hushing because I know better? That's integrity too. Integrity is not always speaking your mind. Integrity sometimes is because you know better and you see some out of alignment thing going on, you decide to remove yourself. It doesn't always mean I'm setting a boundary. Sometimes it means just pulling away, walking away, being an allowance. Sometimes it does mean speaking up. But either way, you're going to speak from a harmonized point of view. That's the tone of the day. Ashe, do you receive that? So all of that bracing and fussing, pushing, complaining, all of that is not the highlight of the creation. We have the World Bridger Face of God available. The World Bridger brings forward new beginnings and brings to end old things. A lot of people, I heard Erykah Badu say this, and I totally agree. I've been preaching it for years. A lot of people, as they grow, they're always growing away from people. And so they need to let this one go and cut ties and shed weight. But the truth be told, they need to do that not because the person or the relationship was a problem, the way they were participating in the relationship was a problem, but they want to let go of the person because that's all we've been taught. That's all you hear. Sometimes you got to let go. Everybody can't come with you. But again, I've been preaching this recently because it's true. We live such a disconnected existence and detached existence and such a shallow existence that's where the collective goes. We grow differently. I gotta cut you off. I'm sorry, no love lost, but I gotta go. That does happen, but most times it's not the other person that needs to be let go. Erykah Badu said this, right? She said sometimes you need to let go of the old ways of being with that person, taking things personal, getting offended, holding resentment, holding bitterness, looking at them as less than divine. Sometimes you need to do that. And the World Bridger brings that energy, right? It's time for you to stop all of the immaturity. So, like, what I mean by that is when children don't get their way in relationship with other people, they take stuff back. Well, I'm going to do this. That's my ball. I am taking my ball. Well, if you take your ball, I'm taking my bat. That's how children behave. Right? And some adults behave like that too. You don't do what I want you to do. Well, I'm just going to fall back. I'm just going to do this. Whatever it is, it's time to stop that. Right? And the World Bridger brings you new ways to deal with people, new ways to operate in old situations. The World Bridger is here to guide you through the transition of what you used to be and the unknown future. We want the future to be predictable. I'm just like you. I want it to be predictable too. And not just predictable, but predictably good. I want that. But here's what's true. We were made for the unpredictable. That's why we can't really see into the future. And even those of us who do get glimpses into the future, it's a glimpse. It's not the whole thing laid out if you're telling the truth. Some next steps come forward, some ideas come forward, some portals open, but you really just don't know if that's going to happen 5 minutes from now, 5 years from now, 5 months from now. You don't know the time frame. But the World Bridger invites you to be the vibrational match to it along the way. That's the point. The point is not the end result. The point is the energies that evolve you into a vibrational match so that when you experience the situation, you are at home in it. You're not flitting and flotting and self-sabotaging and running and scared and fearful because the frequency is so foreign. You got to learn how to be in the frequency now, and that's the point of one step at a time. That's the point of not knowing the future. It reminds me of that story, I told it before, of the two yogis. So to make a long story short, there were two yogis in their spiritual practices, and for whatever reason, their spiritual practice led them to stand by a tree in tree pose as meditation. So one of the gods, deities, comes forward, and the first yogi is like, hey, can you find out, if I can ascend now, because I've been doing this for some years. And so the deity said, yeah, and went away. He went to the next yogi, and the same thing. The yogi was like, hey, can I ascend now? Because I've been standing here for some years. And the deity said, I'll find out, and went away. So the deity comes back, and the first man is fussing. He's like, look, I've been standing here, and I asked you, and I didn't hear anything. You're supposed to be bringing me word back. What's up? And so the deity said, well, you can ascend, but before you ascend, you're going to have to live as many lifetimes as the leaves on this tree. So that yogi just had enough and was like, forget that, because I've done enough. I've been standing. He was very deserving. I deserve to ascend. And the deity left him. He gets to the second yogi, and the same thing happens. And so the yogi looks up at the tree, and he goes, well, at least I know when it's going to end. Sure, okay. And at that moment, the deity caused him to ascend. Do you see the point? Which one is you? You're fussing about how long and what you want and what you don't have. You're very much in deserving. You're very much talking about what you're worth, to the point where you're getting fussy and frustrated and contracted. Or are you the yogi that's like, you know what, I'm on this journey. And okay, I got to do this, and I'll do that. It's for an appointed time. And then I'll do that. It's for an appointed time. But the goal is ascension, so I'm here for it. Which one are you? And you got to be honest. Because in your conscious mind, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm like that second one. But let's be honest. Sometimes you get like the first one. So you have to breathe and let that pass away. Let frustration pass away. Let your timeline pass away. We're supposed to be becoming quantum beings anyway. So what are you doing fussing about time? What are we doing fussing about time? Because we say that in the quantum realm, in the spiritual realm, and in other dimensions, time doesn't even exist. So where do you really live? For real, it's time for self-assessment, right? And if you are locked into this 3D experience, then you do fuss about time, and you get impatient, and you get agitated because sounds like that happen while you're trying to meditate. And it's always something. When it rains, it pours. You say stuff like that. That tells me that you're locked into this 3D reality. Do you know how to tap into the rest of you is the question. And if not, that's why we discuss this. So you can come off this live and ask yourself, what's available for me today in order to expand and enhance and advance myself? Right? I want to come out of these 3D ways of being where I get upset because it was 5 minutes longer than I wanted. Or I get upset because it's 2 months longer than I wanted. Or I get upset because the person said they were going to do it today and they did it. They're going to do it next week. It's time, don't you think, to come out of that? So that's World Bridger energy. It's about equalizing, and it's about opportunities. What opportunities are available for you today to harmonize? Where are you getting 3D and all that mixed up to the point where you're just trying to dwell in one realm? You actually exist in all the realms, all at one time. You're not just a 5-dimensional, 6-dimensional, 7-dimensional being. You are also a 3D being, and whatever is lower than that, you're that too. You're any and all of it. It depends on what fractal of time we zone in on to see which one is active in that moment. Ashe? All right. So when we pull all of the stuff that I just said into a coherent message, it says, I harmonize in order to equalize, modeling opportunity. I seal the store of death with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of heart. I harmonize in order to equalize, modeling opportunity. I seal the store of death with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of heart. Once more, I harmonize in order to equalize, modeling opportunity. I seal the store of death with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of heart. So now let's look at where that comes from, being guided by the power of heart. That comes from the power of the white dog. The white dog is about heart. Your heart needs to harmonize today. It's about love. You need to model love today. Loyalty. You need to be loyal to your own personal sense of integrity. That's your guide today. Your support is the Skywalker. Explore new ways of being. Be wakeful, expand yourself, come out of some of these contracted ways of being. You're fussing because somebody didn't call you back. You're fussing because somebody didn't text you. You're fussing because somebody said what they said that wasn't what you wanted, and now you feel this. It's time for you to explore some other way of being. The challenge is intelligence, okay? You need to be intelligent about what you are doing, being, seeing, saying, and such. Meaning, you need to understand. If you don't understand, you need to ask questions. You don't just make assumptions. You don't just move by your expectations. You don't move by your perception alone when you understand that we're all interconnected, interwoven, and we really are one. When you think you're 3D and it's you against the world, then you have come out of harmony with what's true, and you need to reharmonize. So your challenge is to ask questions. Ask people questions and do it fearlessly, because if you don't know, how you gonna know unless you become receptive? And asking questions invites your receptivity to come on deck. We have spiritual help, which is the eagle, right? Because sometimes when you're being guided by your heart, you could get knocked every which way when you're carrying triggers, right? So if you got a lot of triggers today, then I need you to back up and take a bird's eye view. I need you to look at what's universally true. Let me give you an example. Something happened today. In a moment, somebody said something to me, and I thought to myself, why would they say that? Wow. And so I had to back up, right? I asked myself, number one, what is the heart of this person? The heart of this person is for me, and I know that. So then I questioned, why would they say something like that? So I decided to ask, when you said XYZ, what were you thinking? I understand your well-meaning, so I'm not mad or anything like that. I'm asking the question, right? And then I said, now, what's true about this? What's true is people have different ideas about this, and their ideas usually are not like my ideas. So if I expect their ideas to be consistent with mine, then I'm the one that's coming out of order with universal truth, because universal truth tells me there's varying perspectives. There's infinite amount of perspectives and possibilities. And if that exists, then why am I insisting on mine being the right way? So I plugged into the power of my heart and their heart, and then I questioned. And I took a step back to understand from an eagle's eye perspective what was really going on. It ended up being a beautiful conversation and an exchange of where I shared where I was coming from. They shared where they were coming from. Both of our hearts were heard, seen, and felt, and we walked away feeling really good about that. Ashe, that's what's here for us today. When we look at the 28-day cycle that we're in, we are in the energy of this 28 days called the crystal moon. The crystal moon is about dedication. It's about universalizing and cooperating. There's a time and a season for every purpose. There's a season for you to be in isolation, and there's a season for you to be in collaboration. So you have this season of cooperation, collaboration. All right, and we are on plasma 20 of that 28-day cycle. So some questions through the end of the month. Where can I sync up with someone else of a like mind? What kind of cooperation is a conversation even? You don't have to be in agreement. I've said this before. You don't have to be in agreement to cooperate. Cooperate means we can work around one another. In order to cooperate, you're going to have a hefty dose of honor, a hefty dose of devotion to cooperation, and a hefty dose of understanding and grace. If you don't have a lot of that, then cooperation is going to be hard for you, and you're going to prefer to be by yourself. But understand, being by yourself doesn't mean you're growing. Because you feel at peace doesn't mean you're advancing. It may mean that there's nothing around you agitating the energy so that your triggers can come up. That's what that means, right? But when we get around other people in varying circumstances, then we begin to see just exactly where we are, and that's intel. So cooperation is going to bring forward a lot of reflection, a lot of self-assessment, and you're going to tell where you are, because when you start resisting and getting mad and blaming and stuff like that, then you can just know, okay, in this area, I exist in low consciousness because I can't see my reflection in this. And if I can't see my reflection, I can't grow in this area. Maybe it's not time for you to grow in that area. But if it is, and you see, hey, I'm moving into blame, I'm moving into some kind of resentment, let me see what this is saying in me, because everything is happening in you. I was doing a meditation today, and it was guiding me to that exact point. The things that you see, you're seeing it inside your brain. The things you hear is vibrating the air and the drum inside your ear. When you smell, you take it in, and you analyze the smell inside. All of this is happening in you. Somebody can be yelling and screaming, and you're receiving the tone inside and interpreting it inside. That's what people mean by you create your experience. That's what people mean by this world is a projection. Because what's true is a tree don't look like a tree for real. It's just your eyes making the tree look like it. That person that you're saying is this or that, it's your eyes that's making, your inner eye that's making you see them like that. Because they're another way to someone else. And if you start thinking that the way you see a person, what you think about a certain thing is the way that it is, that in that moment you have begun to fool yourself into thinking you're the only God here. Ashe, Michelle, what you said. Oh my God, so true it is. The way somebody else sees you. If they get convinced that you're just that way, then they've been fooled by their own trickery, by their own unconsciousness, by their own ego. Nobody is just one way. Nobody is just the experience that you had with them. Okay? So that's what we're looking at this month, and we are on day 20, so we got 8 more days to dedicate to what I just said. Let us continue. We're on the 7th wave spell, and the wave spell is coded by the blue cosmic storm. So I think we're on day number 8. Yeah, we're on day number 8 of this 13-day cycle, and these 13 days have been about transformation in a stormy kind of way. Right? So when you start feeling the storm inside of you, the chaos inside of you, ideas clashing, old ways and new ways clashing. Listen, there's a scripture that says no man puts new wine in old wine skin, or it will burst and ruin the skin and the wine. What are you doing? Are you actually shifting? Are you holding on to some old ways of being because you're used to it, because it feels good? I was watching a video, and this is what it said. It was a video about the biology of emotions, moods, and personalities. And this is what it said. You become addicted to your suffering because it gives you this hormonal impulse, this hormonal shoot of energy, right? And you're so used to it, your body responds to it automatically. And if you're not having it, you almost don't know what to do. And so you keep recreating the story, and you keep ruminating, and you keep bringing that energy into your existence so you can get that familiar shoot, and your body can know what to do, because your body likes to know what to do. I know as a personal trainer, your body likes to know what to do. If I keep giving you the same workout for 8 weeks, your body is going to habituate and begin to anticipate what I'm going to say. Your body will start moving when your brain is not even moving. Even when I'm not talking, it's going to start anticipating the movement, right? Because it's been doing it for a long time. And soon as I throw in something extra, it's like you get chaotic for a second, you get scrambled for a second. Your body and your mind go, whoa, 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 what's happening? We were supposed to do this move. Now she's putting that move in. And then the body will resist the move for a second until the neural connections begin to develop. And then after a while, that will habituate too. What are you used to feeling? You're used to people being against you. That's why you still interpret it that way. You're used to people seeing you a particular way, and that's why you interpret. You keep offering the same interpretations because you're used to it, because it's your pattern. It's not because that's what's really happening. You don't even know what is really happening because your autopilot is going into the past and pulling up a past program and saying, here, do this, feel this, say this, act like this. This is what we do. Your autopilot is leading you and you are unconscious. Is this making sense? You will say you don't like drama, but you keep interpreting things like drama. You won't give up the interpretation. You do like it. Your body does. You might not experience it as pleasant. You experience it as familiar, and it's a habit. You think you don't like people not liking you and being against you, but you keep that interpretation. You think you don't like rejection, but you keep that interpretation. So you have to keep experiencing it because you keep creating it. You keep telling the story of it, and you believe your own story. There's a scripture that says the devil tells lies and he believes the lies he tells. You believe the stories you tell yourself. And let somebody else come up and say, well, what if this and that? You go, no, see, you don't know. You don't know the whole thing. Let me tell you the whole thing. Because you're attached to your story. Somebody can come up and be like, well, what if this? No, let me tell you. I know. See, I didn't tell you everything. I just told you part of it. That's why let me tell you the rest of it. You're going to try to convince other people of your story too because you're so convinced. And anyone who comes against that reality, you're going to get really upset with them because they're on a frequency that you don't recognize. I encourage you during this wave spell to breathe, right? Number one, when there's a storm going on inside of you, it's a sign that available information is there. New information is there. And you're going to have to sift through it with spirit. Listen, if your body is habituated to feel good a certain way and something doesn't feel good, you're going to reject that and be like, no, it doesn't feel good. But your nervous system has been programmed to act like that according to certain stimuli. That's why I be telling y'all it's important to know who you are and not what you are, because what you are is a program. It's programmed, it's conditioned. It's a way that you see yourself, that a snapshot, an imprint in your brain. And you think that your nervous system is really telling you don't do something because it doesn't feel good. This is why you need spirit. This is why you need your third eye. This is why you need your crown. This is why you need your heart. This is why you need your solar plexus. This is why you need your sacral and your root. You need to plug into all of those systems to see what's really going on. Because your heart will be telling you, oh, yes, that feels good because I feel safe and I feel comfortable. Yeah, I like that. And then your crown and your third eye would be like, but no, that's not where I'm taking you. Everything that feels bad is not wrong, and everything that feels good is not right. It's time for you to come out of that simplistic way of thinking, okay? Because you're a whole system, a whole being, a whole operating system. It's just like a computer has many programs on it. It has a word processor. It has spreadsheets. It has all these different things. And you can't be like, well, I'm most familiar in this word processor, so I'm just going to use that, because the word processor is not going to help you edit photos. This is what I'm saying. You might be patterned in a particular way. This is why we need other people. Like in this season, I'm taking the eagle's eye perspective. And the eagle's eye perspective is, in the universal soul, I see so much disconnection, so much regurgitation of information, so much isolation, so much loneliness. And people are really under the impression that this is the way it has to be. It's become like this. And it can unbecome like that as well. You've heard people say the spiritual journey is a lonely journey. You've repeated and regurgitated that so many times to yourself that you believe it. That's not true. But what is true is, on your spiritual journey, when you keep trying to associate with frequencies that are anti where you're going to feel lonely. When you're not deepening within yourself so you can deepen with others, you are going to feel lonely. When you are in a space of not understanding your own self, you're going to feel lonely because other people won't understand you either in the way that you want. Am I making sense? Can you hear me? Hey, Logan, thank you. Hey, sweet nerdy. I'm talking to people that are really wanting to ascend and grow up quickly. Sure, you can keep going in your autopilot and bit by bit and piece by piece expand and ascend, and that's fine. People do it all the time. I spent 12 years doing it. But listen, now with my wisdom, if there's somebody around me who could tell me a different way, I want to hear it. Because I don't want to create long times of suffering if I don't have to. Greetings. All right, so we looked at the 65-day cycle. Let's look at this this castle that we're in. You see that white area? That's a 50-day cycle, 52-day cycle. You feeling me? This is a 52-day cycle, and it is called a castle. And guess what? It's called the Castle of Death. It sounds woo-woo, but it's not. This 52 days within the 65-day cycle, right, is about transformation. It's about bringing an end to old ways of being. See, you want to cut off, and I keep going back to this because it keeps coming back to me, so I'm going to go with it. You keep wanting to cut off people. You want to just stop talking to people because they don't get it and they're low vibration. But you're low vibration thinking like that, separateness also. If you learn how to connect with a person's soul, then some cooperation could arise. I'm going to tell you what I know, right? I'm not telling you nothing I read out of a book. I'm not telling you a clever idea I got from a video. Right now, I'm going to tell you what I know. If everyone in our world is a reflection of us, then even the most annoying situation, and I said a situation, not a person, because that person is not annoying. You feel annoyed. That's an emotion. That's not a description of a person's state of being or character. Okay? Every situation that feels annoying to you is a lesson, is a reflection. And as long as you keep saying it's them, then you're not going to be able to extract it. That's just what I know. Now, you kick against that, go to the universe and be mad at the universe because I'm telling you what's true. Sometimes you don't know how to extract the lesson because the emotion is too high. That's all right. That's when you seek wise counsel. If you want to grow with other people, you're going to have to learn how to have some people around you that you trust. And here's what came to me in meditation today. Most people don't trust the hearts of the people around them. They say it with their mouth. Oh, yes, I trust this one and I trust that one. But you could tell what they really trust, because when the person says something that is different than what they want them to say, they start saying the person just want me to think like that. And that person just want me to be this. And they don't want to get it. You start saying that. Do you really trust their heart? It's okay for you to say you don't. It's better if you say you don't than to say you do, but turn around and have interpretations like that. Or maybe you do, but your interpretations are so traumatized that you just apply them without stopping to think. Who do you have around you that you really trust? And what do you trust about them? That's the other thing. Because some people walk around wanting to trust that a person is never going to hurt them, a person is never going to do this and that, and you get very romantic with it. What are you trying to trust? When we're talking about wise counsel, you need to trust the thought processes, because you have heard them, you followed them for a while in terms of the thought processes. You know how the person thinks. You know that they know how to be balanced. You know that they know X, Y, and Z. So usually, even if it's 90% of the time, when they're speaking from truth. They're speaking from a logical process. I know you want to be very spiritual and say they're very spiritual, but even very spiritual people cannot be balanced and give you suggestions talking about his spirit, or project talking about his spirit. Do you know people who can be objective? Do you know people who can have both heart and eagle's eye? Those are your wise counsels, right? And you're not asking the wise counsel to tell you what to do. You're asking the wise counsel to help you navigate space wakefully. There's a scripture that says, walk circumspectly. This is how you get disappointed, when you start talking about, I trust something, I trust them, I trust them. You trust them to do what? And then after they do the thing you think they weren't going to do, which what you're really saying is, I trust them to be predictable. I'm telling you, that's not the way to go. We don't need to trust the predictability of people. We need to trust the soul of people. We need to trust the mind of people. But you're going to have a problem if you don't know how to plug into those things. You just know how to listen to the emotion. And you know that they're a good person because they have a good heart, because they said, oh, when the cat's paw was hurt. You know they're soft. But also understand that every soft person is hard also. So what do you know about their mind? What do you know about their soul? Do you know how to plug into it? Most people don't. You know how to plug into it. Most people don't. They're just going on a feeling or some spiritual idea. They say things like, I see you. What do you see? Because if your vision is clouded, or you haven't plugged in all the way, what you see is you. What you see is the reflection of your projection. I wasn't trying to be poetic right there. It's just the truth. Y'all making me preach. Lord. Who is out there demanding the preacher in me? Somebody is extracting that, placing a demand on it. Because I was trying to be very zen after my meditation. I was out here at the pool. I was in my zen. You hear the birds and the trees. I just did my awareness meditation. I was existing as one. And here come the preacher. In fact, during the meditation, hold on. During the meditation, the guide invited us to view the ideas of ourselves as phenomena. So I was viewing myself as the fitness person, and the yogi, and the mother, and the preacher. So here I come out of my meditation, and somebody then called forward the preacher. I'm here to harmonize. I'm not even mad. I feel good. All right, so let's see. Hey, Skywalker, how you doing? I can't barely see y'all comments, so if I don't respond, don't get mad. Be in harmony, okay? Today is a solar plexus day. Don't look at that red part, okay? The circle, don't look at that. Look down at the solar plexus. When we get off this live, turn on some 528 hertz music and let that play as the backdrop. Just let the frequency play. And every now and then plug into that frequency. You know, even if you're listening to some other music, have that as the backdrop of it. Your solar plexus is the seat of your confidence, of your empowerment, of your will, of your integrity, of your motivation. Can I talk about motivation before I go real quick? Because some people are unconscious of their motivations. And the quickest example comes to me because I talk about it often is, for example, in giving. Some people are motivated by giving because they don't want to feel bad. But what they will be saying is, I gave out the goodness of my heart. Your heart is good, but your motivation in that moment was you didn't want to feel bad. I've done that a lot. Like if there's somebody standing outside the store and they ask me for some money and I didn't really feel led to give it, but I felt bad for ignoring their need. So I would go and give them money. I'm not saying it's good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm just saying you need to know yourself, know thyself. What's your motivation? Sometimes I've given things to people because I didn't want them to have something to hang over my head. So if I gave this to them, then they don't have to say that I did this for you or something. I saw it as an exchange. You got to know your own motivation. Sometimes you're giving because you have a belief system that says you should. None of that has anything to do with the other person. Again, I'm not saying it's good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is. Now, there are other times where you feel compelled to give because you care about the person and you care about their wellness and you want to see them do good. But do you know you can still care about a person and not give, let's say, monetarily? You can still. Now, they might accuse you of not caring. You know, they might be like, when I needed such and such, you didn't give it to me. That's all right. They might go like that. But for me, here's what I know. The greatest thing anybody could ever do for me is pray. Right? If I ask for something and they don't want to give it or they don't have to give it, that's not a crime. And I'm talking about solar plexus energy right now because some of you are carrying guilt because you didn't do something for someone. And they are trying to guilt trip you. And some of you are the one doing the guilt trip. It's a shame because I would have gave you the shirt off my back if you need it. And all I asked you to do was call me on my birthday. We get real dramatic with it. You got to self-assess. You got to self-assess because y'all know y'all be saying stuff like that. Tell the truth. Let me stop right here and let you tell on yourself just for the sake of acknowledgement. It's a shame because I would have gave you my last crumb of bread. And when I called, you didn't answer the phone. I'm waiting. Right. I'm talking solar plexus issues right now. Guilt, shame, motivation. Yeah. And here's the thing about spiritual people. We don't even, I'm not going there. Never mind. Let's stay on the, so if you wanna balance your solar plexus, then go ahead. Right. Because what the hell you mean? Right. We like drama like that. Tell the truth. I don't even for real be celebrating my birthday like that. So if I chose to get mad at somebody, because never mind, I keep trying to go. Why do I keep trying to go there? Let me go there. We're spiritual, right? We don't even want somebody saying happy birthday. We want them saying happy solar return. We want to act like Prince and not even have a birthday and all that stuff. But let somebody not call you on your birthday and you're going to create drama. And I thought you didn't really believe in that. I thought time was an illusion. I'm trying to make sense of this. I thought every day was a day for love, but let your lovey one don't get you your Valentine's gift or something like that. I don't know. I was just thinking about something, y'all. I kept trying to go there. I really didn't want to go there. I'm talking about solar plexus issues. Like all of this is what solar plexus issues could look like. I'm not saying it's only solar plexus because it could be other chakras too. But it's definitely solar plexus, blame and shame. So look at those areas, y'all, and say, all right, let me balance my solar plexus, because I don't even for real believe in birthdays, but I feel insignificant and I want some attention. So let me just ask for the attention. Hey, could I have some extra attention today from you? Right, I don't care anyway. Solar plexus, okay? Yeah, can I get some extra loving? We need to get comfortable asking for what we need and stop all that passive aggressive stuff. Really, just stop. What's your motivation? And then you don't want to ask for it because you don't want them to give it to you just because you asked for it. You need some solar plexus balancing. Let me put you on the solar plexus table, honey. Because y'all know y'all be doing that. Now you just doing that because I said, yes, they're doing it because you said. Now, if you're saying, I don't feel deeply connected to you, let's talk about that. Okay. You said you wanted more of this. I'm doing it because you said it. But if you wanted me to do what was natural, you would have been asking me questions. Hello? Y'all know y'all be doing that with people. And people do that to you too. If you're honest, you've experienced that, right? Somebody wanting something, not quite saying it, not coming forward. You didn't feel like being pressured, so you just didn't do it or something. And then they start fussing and then blaming you, accusing you, and things of that nature. It's just a mess. So I am coming up with some teachings to help you empathize. Y'all need help with empathy. You need to know what it really is and how to get in that frequency. Empathy is not just the question. Let me give you an example. When my children and I, we used to belong to this homeschool group, and the kids used to do show and tell. And so the kids didn't really know how to do the Q&A portion of show and tell. So what we told them was, we said, one of the things you can ask is, how do you feel about that? Or what do you like about it, right? Every show and tell, every child would raise their hand, and you know what they would ask? What do you like about it? The person could have said, I really like that it's red. I really like that it's flat. I really like how it feels against my hands. It makes me smile. The end. Are there any questions? Here's the hand. What do you like about it? And then the person would gracefully try to answer that. And then the next hand would be, what do you like about it? And then we had to say, okay, we got to ask some other questions. Some people become like that. You tell them empathy means ask questions and such, and they go, oh, well, how do you feel about that? Well, how do you feel about that? Well, how do you feel about that? It begins to be perfunctory and robotic. I want to teach you how to touch a soul so that through good times and hard times and other times and everything in between, you feel connected in the ways that are meaningful in that relationship. TikTok is saying it's filtering comments. So if I don't see your comment, it's because it's being filtered. So I'm going to do a series of teachings on attunement and empathy. We did these talks before, and we talked about honor and devotion. Now we're going to talk about attunement and empathy. I want to help you create the closeness that your soul so deeply and fervently desires. That's what I want to do. So if you want that, because you have people around you that you really want to plug into in a deeper way, or you want to prepare yourself for that kind of connection, or you're in a connection and you realize that you really need more of this, you would love more of it, then these teachings are going to be for you. I'm going to put it on a sliding scale, donation based. $5 and up. You give what you want. Nobody's going to be looking at you about the price that you pay. If you want to pay $5,000, fine. If you want to pay $5, fine. It is all well. Because what I want to do is create an exchange, a meaningful exchange. Okay? And I want you to tell other people about it as soon as I make the post. Especially your loved ones that you really are feeling close to and you want to get closer to them. Or ones that you're getting to know. Maybe it's someone you're getting to know. And you want them to be exposed to this information in the same way that you are, then you can invite them, right? You can invite them before it's a problem, you know? And then I'm probably going to transcribe the teachings to put it in a PDF one day. I don't know when, and no, I'm not doing replays. I've learned that I really want some live participation, and so that's why I stopped doing replays. All right, so that's it. How y'all doing? Are you feeling all right? Is your heart well? Did what I say make sense? Was there anything in it you could use? I like this graphic. What I used to believe advanced yoga was, what I've come to realize advanced yoga is. Hold on, let me pull something up that lets me see what y'all saying, because I can't see it right now. Okay, feeling great and feeling better. Good. Laughing at honey, listen. I know about that old pettiness. I was steeped in it growing up, and I was real heavy in it for a long, long time. Gratitude, gratitude. When a lot of people, let me say this, a lot of people want closeness, but those unconscious behaviors really sabotage emotional availability, safety, closeness, and such. If we believe this, and I do believe it, based upon science, psychological science research, 90%, between 80 and 90% of what we have. So you're living in the past 80 to 90% of the time and recreating it, thinking that you're not. You got this new person, this new job, this new home, this new situation, but you're living from 80 to 90, then you're recreating the same things. You saw my shoulder. I guess that means it's time to go. Was it buffering the whole time? I'll just record that part on my podcast. It's about unconsciousness. So I don't know what y'all heard, right? But I'll rephrase it the whole time. If you want to see something different in your newness, your new job, your new neighborhood, your new home, your new relationship, your new business, then you really need to start uncovering that 80 to 90% autopilot. Because if you don't, it's going to become what the rest of it became. And you got to make a decision. I want something new. I want newer and newer thoughts. Even if you can move, encoded in your unconscious is the who you are and all the who's you've been. But the what you are is eternal and infinite. And it's timeless. Ashe. That's it, y'all. Have a beautiful rest of your creation. And I will make sure to share the information for those teachings so y'all can share it with others. I want to spread the news that we can become more conscious together and stop creating the past. I really want to do that. I'm dedicated to it. I'm dedicated to universalizing it. That's it.